Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on
What's
tonight?
up, Jeff?
Man, Ripple XRP, that's what's up. You know what? Ripple XRP is leading crypto to mass adoption. That's right. That's right. You heard it. You heard it right here. And Gensler, is he costing MIT their endowment? Man, XRP for mass adoption. That's what I'm talking about. You ready to kick this thing off?
Let's go. Let's do this. Let's get started. Let's do it.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, it is a little bit crazy what's going on in the whole space, but today, a lot of firsts, Jeff. So we had the first 3 trillion market cap. That's a new record. We have Bitcoin all-time high breaking. I think it touched 68,000 briefly, and also ETH topped out at 4,800 plus. So we got three all-time highs. Market cap at 3 trillion. It wasn't too long ago we were looking at it and it was 2 trillion, thinking, wow, 2 trillion. But even 3 trillion, we're talking this is going to 10, 15, 25, 30 trillion dollars. So if you want to think how early you are, you're pretty damn early because we're just getting started.
We are, man. I tell you what, when you see Solana over here with a buy mark on it on CoinGecko with a 23% gain so far for the past 7 days. And Bitcoin's up 11% and Ethereum is up 11%.
And I was looking at Solana just December of 2020, you could have picked it up for about $120. Suppose you sunk $1,000 in it, you'd have close to a little over $250,000 today. That's a pretty solid increase.
Man, that would have been nice. That would have been nice to know ahead of time. Get a little bit of that Solana.
Well, that's kind of where I think that's really where I think XRP is headed anyway. It's headed to that territory. There's no doubt about it. It's artificially suppressed, and it will get there. It's been denied its all-time high. Should have been $5, $6, $7, $10 by now. But again, there's other forces out there that are sort of preventing it from getting to where it needs to be.
Chip, is this shocking to you in any way that Binance Coin, BNB, is now sitting at $657 at the low of the market not that long back? It was sitting probably double digits around $10, $12. Now it's on its way to 700. I mean, that's like
incredible,
dude. It's unreal. It's unreal.
It's fantastic, really. I mean, you think about it. Blockchain backer was looking at, he was calling 72 to 76,000 for Bitcoin. So and then what he was saying was then we're into the alt season and then the bull run. So this could eclipse what we saw in 2017, 2018, and then from 76,000 on up. And that's when people are looking to get into the marketplace or looking at ETH, they're looking at everything. And then they come to realize that look at all these other altcoins. And it seems like XRP just keeps falling down the mountain, right? It keeps falling. Before long, it'll be out of the top 10. I mean, that's kind of where it's headed, but it's all short term because a lot of that, I mean, you go up to, what are we at sitting at, right? Number 7 right there. If you look at
28.
Yeah, look at Polkadot right there. Polkadot's, what's the market cap on Polkadot? I'll just slide over there.
Right there. 56 billion.
Yeah, 56, and of course I can't see it on my little screen here. It's too hard to see, but there you go. Yeah. There it is. So yeah, not too far away, really. I mean, and it almost fell out of position 8, but then you look at like what's below that, and it's just crazy to see the marketplace right there, right? You got Doge sitting up there.
It's crazy.
It's Shiba Inu.
Yep. They're right there, man. They're hovering. Everything's hovering. Litecoin at $240 with a market cap of 15 billion. I mean, nice trade volume. Overall, man, you see a lot of interesting things going on here.
Yeah, it's pretty.
What about Matic?
Yeah, it's look, I still think we're pretty early. I mean, yeah, I mean, sure, people are seeing some nice gains, but I just think where we're headed, 3 trillion before you know it'll be 6, 7, 10, 15 trillion. Just imagine, not all those and the 30th and 100th and 170th position are going to crush it. They're just not. So
Look at the
it'll be
Tron at 10 cents.
So it'll be interesting to see kind of where this, where this really ends up. And speaking of the all-time high being crushed artificially, I think one of the things that probably did it was, a lot of people a little bit afraid, institutional investors, sort of the whole SEC thing, and especially in the U.S. I'm not so sure outside of the U.S. anybody really cares, but they care about their investment, and the SEC's been crushing it at a lot of levels. So one of the things that I saw today in the Twitters is I saw this excellent video by none other than Gary Gensler. And this is interesting, Jeff. I want you to get your take on this one to see what he's talking about here. And hopefully we can hear it, because it's possible that it could be a little on the low side. I wish there was a way we could boost the audio, but there isn't. But I'm going to put this up. Let's just listen to it. It's about 2 minutes and 20 seconds long. This was posted by Real XRP Boy. He goes at boy_XRP. He said, shout out to Gary Gensler. And here's why.
So I want to talk a little bit about cross-border. On Tuesday, we put up a complex chart. I don't need to go through that again, but we all know, and there's a lot of people here that probably send money back. When you're moving something overseas, you're moving from one fiat to another fiat currency. It takes some time, and the banking system over centuries has formed a way to do that, to move from one money to another, or as we say, one ledger system to another ledger system, through correspondent banking. And correspondent banking is a reasonably concentrated business. One student sent in the group chat last night that there's only really 10 banks in this field. I don't know if that's accurate, by the way, but it is a very concentrated business because they're large international banks. Whether it's 10 or 20, it's, and they can charge a little excess. Because they have to have correspondence. They have to have relationships with all the local banks, and they're taking some credit risk, the correspondent banks standing in between, some credit risk of the local banks on both sides in the U.S. and so forth, and in let's say, Mexico, if it's between the U.S. and Mexico. So one idea that's been around, it's widely associated with Ripple, but it's not only associated with Ripple, is this simple chart. What if I move fiat to crypto and crypto to fiat? This is called a bridge crypto or bridge currency. I can sort of say I can go from US dollars to Bitcoin or XRP. You fill in the middle and then move over to the other fiat, Mexican peso in my example. And might that take some cost out of the system? We have Sean's issue earlier of volatility. If the crypto is fluctuating a lot, that causes some issues. If there's a lot of cost or friction, because now you're doing two currency exchanges, not one. I'm calling crypto a currency for this purpose.
Whoa, Jeff, he's calling crypto. So let's unpack this a little bit. So he's perfectly explaining the use case for not only Ripple but XRP, no?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I'm focused on this guy down in this bottom left-hand corner that seems to be falling asleep, or just watching him he's just like
he's propping his head up there. He's like,
you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. What the hell is this guy
like, hey,
talking
wake
about?
up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Yeah.
But you're right, man. He brings up Ripple, throws it out there. Yeah, let's pretend it's a currency for this purpose. So is he, I get where he's going, but man, how do you go from that to where he's at now?
Well, I think how you get there is that you stupidly accept a government post, and then all of a sudden you become a government official who was nominated, then confirmed, and then you're basically on stupid street, right? And how that happens is that everything's fine in your normal life, and like I said, it's kind of like this thing where you're working for an organization or company, and you got to then disseminate the message from the upper management down to the lower management. And you say, like, well, this is the policy and this is how we're doing things and this is this and this. But doesn't necessarily mean you necessarily believe it wholeheartedly or go all in on something, but you're just delivering the message. So as a government confirmed, they call him official, but chair of the SEC, remember, even though he had some friendly involvement with Jay Clayton, the former chair, he did not necessarily, he might not have been in favor of this lawsuit per se. And now the funny part about it is the internet is forever, the video is forever, conversations are forever, and it's all recorded out there. And what's happening is people are uncovering it. There's some more videos we have of Gary Gensler. So this isn't a good look if you then play this in court and say, well, here's someone you may recognize. His name is Gary Gensler, and he's the chair of the SEC. And this is how he thinks about not only Ripple and XRP, but he perfectly said, look, you go from fiat to crypto to fiat. He called it a bridge currency. He called it a currency, right? And he also talked about an exceptional use case. So I'm like, Your Honor, I rest my case. It's like, if you couldn't get a better explanation in a layperson's terms than what Gary Gensler just did in that video, no?
Yeah. I'm wondering, as you get that departure, what was it that Senator Kennedy was saying in the video? And it could be that that Gensler's partaking in what was
smoking
it?
The devil's lettuce.
Devil's lettuce. I think that's kind of where we're at with him.
By the way, Jeff, someone had said some really weird comment on Twitter, and I wanted to say, have you been smoking the devil's lettuce? just because
that's the best.
It's so wicked. I would be like, I'd probably get banned for that. They'd be like, oh no, we can't have you talking about the devil's lettuce. This is insane.
Oh my God.
Awesome. How are you going to go on and start talking about the devil's lettuce? But Jeff, you want to know who just walked in?
Come on, man, Berserker.
Damn right, Berserker's in the house. You better believe it. He's been doing a great job with his own podcast there, which has been really good to. I did have the opportunity to sit in one late night, and that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it because it's good talking about something other than crypto and talking about other stuff. The other subject that I like a lot, Jeff, which is, the whole, geopolitics, whole thing. I sort of like that. It's nice to kind of let loose and get off of the normal subjects. But, the thing is all the stuff that's happening, I feel like we're just heading to this crescendo. It's like it's all heading to this one point. And watching some of John Deaton's, conversations and tweets when he talks about this is going to be a precedent-setting case, because if Ripple takes this one home, and I pretty much think they're going to, this fair notice, basically the SEC is going to be done regulating crypto, because all of it's going to be deemed not a security, at least most of it, the majority of it, and they're going to be regulated, like as Deaton says, to the to the ICO type of to the outfits, and that's probably what it's going to end up.
You think? I mean, it's interesting, because I think about, you're innocent until proven guilty. Does that hold true with businesses as well? Is the business innocent of not partaking in the sale of an unregistered security until proven otherwise? Like, let's say, you have this new asset class, you're building it out, you do different things, and there's no real clear-cut direction or answer. Can one party and one agency just come out and say it's a security? Well, why? It's a security because that's my opinion. Now, the company's going to look at it and say, well, how did you come to that conclusion? Other than it being your opinion, what fact have you presented? And if you can't present the fact, and really just saying it, out in public isn't going to make it so doesn't that then mean that it has to go into some body to somehow analyze these things and make a determination on how you identify whether or not someone is partaking in the sale of an unregistered security in this new asset class and developing, this asset? Shouldn't there be some rules? Maybe, similar to the structure of a token taxonomy act. Can we build a structure like that?
Jeff, in theory, it sounds very doable, and I'm all in on that. I mean, I have to tell you 100% that I'm definitely in on that type of strategy, without a doubt. And, I have to just say that every single day I become more confident that we are past the point of no return of attempting to crush crypto. like maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. The problem is that it wasn't a threat. It was some crazy, out there, outlandish thing. It's never going to go anywhere. Nothing's ever going to happen. We're way past that, Jeff. And I don't really think that no matter what comes up, the people will speak, and you can't put that genie back in the bottle. And here's another Gary Gensler clip, Jeff. I want you to listen to this, and I want you to comment directly after it. Let's watch this.
All right, let's see what you got.
These startups have a little bit different way that they've broken into this space. Plaid, which we've chatted a little bit about. Plaid is in this space because they came in through.
Just for people that are like maybe listening or not paying attention, basically there's a chart up there. Fintech payments talks about the big tech companies, and it takes you through it in 2003, 2007, 11, 13, and then up to Apple Pay and Google Pay and stuff like that. But then you have the startup unicorns, which you have like Klarma. These were some of the early ones. Plaid, which he talks about, which connects banks. Generally, when you connect your bank to an exchange, you're using Plaid. Of course, Ripple, Square, Stone, Stripe, Toast. You see Toast as the point of purchases a lot. When they flip that thing around, you sign your name. TransferWise, which is now branded Wise. All of this kind of stuff is what we're looking at. And this is what he's doing. He's kind of commenting on it on this slide here, and he's taking us through it. So let's listen to it.
Dude, yeah, before you start up, so Mr. Wright saying he looks like, now I've been looking at this, and I'm saying, is this guy wearing a hoodie? Like, is that a turtleneck or a hoodie? Like, what the heck is he wearing? And why is he on video? Isn't he the chair of the SEC? Like, doesn't he have
I think this is pre-chair. This is when
this pre-chair.
Okay, so this is by Bull Diep. At Diep San H put this out. This was tweeted out on February 9th of 2021. And he says Gary Gensler, SEC chair nominee. So this is prior to him becoming the SEC chair. So
he's wearing a hoodie, not even a turtleneck. When you zoom in, it's like it doesn't sit properly for a turtleneck. It just looks
doesn't sit properly anything. I mean, the Undertaker seems to be the best.
Why is he wearing I don't know. I mean, who are we to complain? We come on our podcast in t-shirts, so I don't know what we're talking about, but it just
Truth,
I figure,
Jeff.
you hit the level where you're going to the
but he was on sabbatical at that.
But
this might have happened 2-3. I don't know when this is from. That's part of the issue I see where in JV the great, even the OTC family commented on this tweet and said, where the entire video is located. What drives me insane is I'm not doubting the legitimacy of the video, but when people post stuff, please always post the attribution. Where did this come from? Hey, if you want to watch, I pulled it from the full clip, which is located here. But then everyone has to go on a wild goose chase. And one of the things that drives me insane is when there's no attribution. Someone, instead of posting the article, they put a screenshot of the article. And I'm like, that can be doctored. I don't know that it's real and it's right and all that, but
awesome.
Let's listen in.
Open APIs and facilitating the software in the system. Ripple is a cryptocurrency type company. 197 is in India. It's really, I could even have put that in the big tech because they started, I think, Paytm. Nubank.
I mean, that's really it. I mean, it's like, but Ripple, hang on a second. Let's get that again. Let's say, what does he exactly say here?
India, it's really, I could even have put company. Currency. Ripple is a cryptocurrency type company.
Ripple is a cryptocurrency type company. Really, Gary Gensler? This is interesting. So this is going to make the greatest hits. What do you think about this, Jeff? I mean, come on.
I'm liking where he's going with it. I like that. It's a cryptocurrency type company. And, he's going to, the stuff, it, like you said, once it's on video, it's on video. We've got lots of record of things that people say, even though they come out and they say, hey, I never said it, or I didn't mean it that way. Well, you're taking me out of context. All right, well, let's put it in context. Let's play the video. There you go. Now you're in context. And he's used Ripple and XRP now multiple times as examples. And he used it when he was teaching. He used Ripple as a good example of a group that's providing a solution for remittance payments. And then he utilizes the discussion of the asset, of the digital asset XRP being a digital asset, and references it as a currency. He said, for this purpose, let's reference it as a currency. Now, he could mean say it isn't, but why does he keep using the example? And then again, why is he bringing it up again? And he's going to keep talking about it. There's a lot of other projects that he could be referencing. You start thinking that maybe, he's going to continue to single out this entity for other reasons. There's something else going on in his brain as his wheels are churning in reference to the company Ripple and the digital asset XRP.
No, exactly.
What do you think of that? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's spot on, and it's like there's so much going on with regard to this narrative, right? And it was just, I mean, you drop a bomb on the way out going to the office, and it's when Moon Solomon's in here. Whoa, the king is in the chat. What's up, King? Putting out great videos, man. And I don't know what you do to find all those secret documents. That is some serious research. You're finding secret documents all over the place, and I never come across any secret documents. So I have to just when Moon Nosferatu Gensler. Oh, that is fantastic. Nosferatu is absolutely spot on right there.
Tries to lull you to sleep with platitudes and BS. Platitudes, I like that.
By the way, if you want to look at what Nosferatu looks like, in case nobody knows or is familiar, but let's go ahead and share this. And let's see if Mark Phillips's comment isn't spot on. There you go. There's Nosferatu right there. It's the greatest hits of Nosferatu. Gosh, it really does kind of look like him, huh? God almighty, look at that.
Close resemblance.
Wow. I could just see the Nosferatu. I mean, you basically right there, Jeff, right there. That's
right there. That's perfect.
I mean, teeth are a little bit off, but I mean, everything else looks spot on. I mean, if I had to guess.
Spot on. I like it. There you go.
Right there. I mean, look at this one here. That could be Gensler. It could be Dracula. It could be Nosferatu. It could be everything.
Yeah, you don't know. I think that was taken when he was on his way to the hearing the other day when.
Jeff, is it possible to take that Mark Phillips comment, bring it back, and can we make an NFT out of that? Mark, that should be your first N2. Tries to lull you to sleep with his platitudes and bullshit, and then he pounces. Listen, and it's an investment contract. It's an investment contract. By the way, if I have to listen to him say that one more time about the investment contract,
that's okay. He's wearing a hoodie.
Hoodie from MIT. From MIT, Jeff. That's where he's from. Yeah, that's it really is. So yeah, speaking of MIT, I think we should cover this one, this story right here.
Big shout out to Notorious.
Notorious. Yeah, we should definitely. But let's look at this right here. I saw this today, and I thought, Jeff, we got to cover this. This is just way too good to not look at. But let's just take a look at this. So MIT, that's, of course, where Gary Gensler tells us he taught all the time. But check this out. This tweet, Peter Boghossian tweeted this out. Goodbye, MIT. As the university increasingly caves to wokeness, two alumni explain why they're withdrawing their financial support. Stop giving to your alma mater. And here's a whole story on this, but I'll just give you it says, we graduated from MIT more than 50 years ago. Some old timers, Jeff. I mean, they got to be in their 70s. I would imagine if there were it's maybe 71, but that's cool. MIT was academically rigorous. It taught us our crafts and our essence of our problem solving, enable us to thrive in our careers. We owe much to our alma mater, and we've donated to it regularly. Big key word there, Jeff. Two of them, no more. The current MIT administration's caved repeatedly to the demands of wokeness, treating its students unfairly, compromising the quality of its staff, and damaging the institution and academic freedom at large. So this whole thing kind of dives into exposing all this whole wokeness and why these two are withdrawing their financial support.
Yeah, I think that's key. It's really important, because as these institutions have moved further and further away from education and supporting free thought, then yeah, I mean that's the first place you got to go is stop supporting the insanity. But a lot of these institutions have massive endowments. If you look it up, you can look at the endowment of Harvard and some of those top colleges. I mean, they could be self-sufficient for eons without having to worry about fundraising. So, but some of those organizations that have, they put their these universities in their wills, ends up in these massive endowments. They got to stop doing that. You're right, 100%. So, hey, before we go on, Brandon Dennison is asking.
go,
He said, "Hey
Brandon."
guys, can I ask a question?"
Sure. What is it?
That was his question.
What's the question?
No.
Go ahead.
So the follow-up to that is, I have over 10,000 XRP that he's had on a ledger for over a year, and wants to know how he takes advantage of the airdrops. So
Well,
the
there's
first question is whether or not you were holding it as of December 12th of 2020 was the snapshot.
Yeah, and if you were, then there's a lot of great tutorials out there. I mean, I would look at Mickey B. Fresh videos who goes through it and sort of explains how to take advantage. Because again, we're on Songbird, so you're looking at the this SGB token, and you should have received it. And if you now, the only thing that I can say to that was, if you didn't properly set up your ledger, there was a cutoff date. I think it was in May or April of last year. Because I remember I kind of did it late. I think I did it in March or April. I was like, I think you had to set it up to be able to take advantage of the drop. So that is a potential. Again, that's kind of what I recall and remember. But that's why you got to go back and start going through the docs or looking for that ledger, and then look for the docs. I think you had to set up your ledger to be able to receive the drop. So. And big shout out to Earth Angel. I always want to sing that song, Jeff, 'cause that's what I think about. Earth Angel. It's always a song, but that's a super sticker. Thank you for that.
It was what was the dance? Something under the sea.
Yeah, that's a different song though, right? Isn't that wasn't that from the that Disney movie, no?
Oh, from Back to the Future.
Oh, right on. Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with that. You're right. That was called The Enchantment of the Sea or something like that.
Yeah, Enchantment of the Sea, or Under the Sea.
Something like that. Yeah, right. I was thinking Under the Sea.
They were singing that song.
Yeah, look at that, huh? It's incredible. So we have Catherine McDonald here. Thank you for that. She says, "Hey guys, are you not concerned the SEC withdraws to save face and XRP's back at ground zero? Your thoughts?" Jeff, you want to weigh in on that?
You're not concerned about what's okay. Let's see. Let's read this again. "Hey guys, are you not concerned the SEC withdraws to save face and XRP is back?" Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. And we've talked about this before. I don't see the SEC withdrawing at this point. They are 100% focused on victory. They think they're going to win. They're going to follow this through all the way. That's why, I also don't believe that there's going to be a clear-cut settlement because they don't want to settle. The only settlement that the SEC will accept is if Ripple acknowledges the fact that they were selling an unregistered security then till present. And then I think there's a lot to that. Now, if you look at Ripple's side, they've all come out and, whether it was Brad Garlinghouse or their attorney coming out and specifically stating that they're not backing down, and they're also going all the way until there's a clear-cut outcome. Now, there could always be that one probable, outcome in this case, like you're mentioning, that all of a sudden the SEC says, whoa, wait a minute, this is a catastrophe. Let's just end it. Let's just, decide that we're no longer going to pursue this action. I don't see that being a positive, a probable outcome at all. I don't know, Chip. What are your thoughts?
I kind of think much the same way you're thinking, Jeff, because yeah, they could do that. They definitely could withdraw it. But I mean, this is something where we had back when we had Jeremy Hogan, and we also had John Deaton on here. That was one of the things, I believe it was either I thought it was John, might have been Jeremy, but brought the whole idea of that they could do that. They could drop the whole case and then come back 6-8 months later. But the fact that they've already extended discovery and now they're going to drop it, it doesn't seem likely. I mean, they're trying to, right now they're going after these meeting notes and video and all this stuff. I saw something hit the docket today a little bit earlier, but to me, I think their biggest worry right now is the fair notice. And if they drop it or whatever, come back, fair notice isn't going away. They've just extended the fair notice time, from 8 years to 8.5 or 9 years. at least when you look on paper, right? So 2013 to 2022, you know, you've extended it. It looks like 9+ years. And then that fair notice is going to be even more effective because now you let another year pass or another half a year pass. I think this gets a resolve of some kind, right? Now, depends what the judge does too, and depends where, you know, the SEC still has not turned over documents. But ultimately, I just don't know that I see them going that route. I think it would do more damage to the SEC. Here's the case of the century. Now they're withdrawing it. It would make the agency look really weak. It would really lessen their position. And again, people would take them even less serious. So is it a possibility? Absolutely. Will it happen? I don't know. I'm not sure that I see it. I think it would do too much damage. And I think Gensler's way too proud to sort of back off from that and then reinitiate it later. But, you know, Catherine, you're bringing up a good question, and it's always possible. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't. So here's an interesting kind of segue follow-up, because this is still SEC related. Will the SEC or the U.S. government come after people for buying XRP from a foreign exchange using a VPN? Now, I find that interesting because the exchange, the foreign exchange, is doing their diligence to block certain countries from trading on their platform, or in the case of the US, certain states like New York, for instance, you know, is many times blocked from certain things. And so if you circumvent the exchange's policy, are you somehow, you know, are you in breach somehow? That's a that's a really good you know, question. That would be a good John Deaton or Jeremy Hogan question to have them somehow, you know, research that a little bit to find out. The question is, you know, are they going to do that? Is it, you know, the SEC won't do it. They're not going to come after individuals. It's going to end up coming down probably to, if, you know, there's any agency that would come after individuals from buying on the foreign exchange, it's going to be the IRS, because it's the tax man that is most concerned about buying on an exchange that isn't reporting. So I think that would be the only agency. And then they would have to find out that you were buying from that foreign exchange, meaning that that foreign exchange would have to disclose through their KYC collection. They would have to disclose that to the government agency. So there's a lot that would have to happen, you know, for all of that to occur. But the legality, I don't know, you know, and that's, like I said, that's definitely a John Deaton or Jeremy Hogan question. I just see that there's a lot of, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I tend to agree with pretty much everything you're saying. But again, I'm not really an attorney. But the thing about this is, now I have been very distrusting of VPNs, because I know that, especially the ones that tend to be lower priced. And I'll tell you why, because a lot of them sell your data. It's one of the reasons they keep the fees down. So they're selling your data all over the place. Not really good. There's actually two good ones that are blockchain based. I tend to trust them more if you're going to do that. But then the other question is, why are you buying on a foreign exchange when you can buy it off Uphold? Uphold's a U.S. regulated exchange, and all you have to do is, you know, basically move it. And with this new bill that's coming out, you know, a lot of people might be jockeying position with their digital assets anyway. But I think probably the one that would go after it, Jeff, I agree with you on the IRS, and the other one would be New York. New York State probably would blow all kinds of money just to be right about going after, because I got to imagine there's so many people that live in the state of New York, not just the city. Kind of a dumb idea naming the city, because I grew up in New York as well. And if you tell somebody you didn't grow up in one of the 5 boroughs, they're like, oh, you know, I grew up on, you know, I grew up in the other part of the state, which was where people trusted each other, liked each other, helped each other, and also they were friendly. That's all I'm going to say. We also treated our property with pride. We knew the whole definition of cleanliness, and we knew how to wash our sidewalks, and we knew how to do a lot of things. But I just have a feeling that I would not be shocked if it's who beats who there first. Is it the state of New York going after people with VPNs, or is it potentially the IRS? And it might be a dead heat race, or initiated right around the same time. But Jeff, you're spot on about that.
Yeah, and here's another good one too. Where's MoneyGram in this whole thing? They were allowed to use XRP, and this goes back to the whole conversation that we've had over Ripple going into negotiation with MoneyGram to begin with, and using XRP, transferring XRP to MoneyGram, knowing that MoneyGram was going to sell the XRP. And the thing is, for them to go through the purchase of shares and the percentage of shares that they purchased in MoneyGram, I'm referencing Ripple, doing that, they would have had to have gone through the SEC. So the SEC would have had to have been in the know with everything that was being orchestrated, including the fact that they were transferring XRP that was going to be sold. They were in the know. So now MoneyGram, yeah, they're not even in conversation at this point. No one's discussing. Yeah, they're not even discussing it. So it's really interesting because, again, there was a proof of a real use case. Now, you get people like Janet Yellen and Elizabeth Warren and others that will come out with a conflicted message that there are no actual use cases. Now, MoneyGram was using ODL. They were using on-demand liquidity, not for retail, but for foreign currency exchange. And they were successfully using ODL for foreign currency exchange. And it cut their expenditures significantly. Right from the CEO of MoneyGram acknowledged that. Now, they ended up parting ways. I'm sure there's reasoning, but I think there's a lot to that, Chip.
No, there is, but I mean, but I think where that's really coming from, where Moose is coming from, where are they in the whole thing? I think what you're alluding to is the fact that Ripple did go to the SEC. They said, by the way, we're making an investment. The SEC didn't shut them down, but they explained to them the way they're going to invest in MoneyGram and take a piece of the company was they're going to do it in XRP. They also knew that MoneyGram would sell it on the secondary market almost ASAP. Well, it tells me a couple things there. First of all, the SEC didn't say no. They didn't say, oh, no, you can't do that. They didn't necessarily endorse it, but they did go to the SEC. The SEC said you couldn't do it. So again, this is where this fair notice lives, because they had the chance to do it then. They said no. They knew MoneyGram was going to sell it on the secondary market. Why? Because there's a value to it. So if it was millions of XRP and had values of millions of dollars, this is why they wanted to put it into use. And this is one of the reasons. And you also hear the chief tech officer, I believe it was, for MoneyGram talking about, they've since partnered with the Stellar Foundation using Stellar Lumens. But let's get something straight. It's not the same thing, right? It's not, they don't have the ODL product. Now they have something they're working on that I've caught some whiff of here and there. It's something similar, but again, they lost a lot in that deal too, but they needed to back off because they didn't want regulators coming after them. They certainly can't risk their whole business model because the SEC, how do you think that would tank MoneyGram? So I do think that this is going to come up. It's going to come up as part of fair notice that, years ago they made this investment and it kind of went nowhere. Then we got this one from XRP Speedboat. Thank you for that. This is good. This is something really good. He says, public service announcement. Do not beat yourself up about missing an airdrop. It's free. You never had it. You didn't lose anything. It's a really great way to look at it, Speedboat. Appreciate that because, I know too many people that said, I don't know what I was thinking. I fell into the FUD. I thought it was going to be not a good thing and I didn't take action, or I never set it up, or I didn't have it on an exchange, whatever it might be. This is really good advice. Look, it's kind of like when you sell something and you make a profit, that's it. You're out. You can't go back and say, wow, I mean, if I'd stayed in another year, I would have made 5 times more. That's great. If when it comes to crypto, look, pull the trigger, you make that decision, you live by it. But again, it's free. So that's a really solid way to look at that. I think that's really, it's really good. And one of the things, Jeff, that I wanted to, go ahead.
Oh, this is another good one. Then move on to your topic here. But Jim D was saying, anyone in the USA feel freedom knowing we're the only ones who can't buy XRP and foreigners can, save Uphold. So Uphold is the one exchange, Bitrue as well. You can buy in Bitrue or Uphold. But yeah, that's a good point. And it's fun. I like the sentence though, because, foreigners, but that's, all the people that we have watching the show that are international are like, who are the foreigners? What are we talking
foreigners?
about?
The hell? The U.S. We're the foreigners screwing everything up for everybody, Jeff.
Exactly.
And that's absolutely ridiculous. So, there's a nominee. I'm going to go ahead and put this up here because this plays into something I want to load up, but I want to talk a little bit about this because I think, you know, we had Brooks, who was the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller. He made some good things. He had a level head. He was doing a lot of things that really made a lot of sense. And so what we're seeing right now is we're seeing that swing right around full circle. And I wanted to actually, let me do this. Let me share the screen first. I have a video to play, but I wanted to go ahead and.
Mel G.
Hey, Mel G, what's up?
It's been forever. And another quick shout out over to Epic Sushi for the super
epic.
sticker.
What an epic name, Epic Sushi, man.
Epic
You can't
Sushi.
get better than Epic Sushi. But I want to talk about the current nominee for the Office of the Comptroller right here. Oh, and this right here is a disastrous pick on all levels. If you wanted to look in a large book, or let's say a database of people that you would never pick for this role, her name is at the very bottom. And I feel very confident saying that. I've done a lot of research on her, and she is beyond a nut job. Okay.
No, and she shouldn't be where she's at. I mean, it's
yeah. So anyway, this was in the Wall Street Journal, and this is their thing, you know, to oversee faces tough confirmation battle, right? Then let's take a look at this one. More Democrats cool on Biden pick. Well, yeah, because in light of reading the tea leaves and what happened in some recent elections, all 50 Republicans expected to oppose her nomination. Then you're going to have a couple of dissenters as well. Some progressives like Senator Warren, oppose Powell. They signaled installing a strong regulator at the Office of the Comptroller. She's obviously, again, Jeff, we got to stop doing this. She's a 55-year-old Cornell University law professor. In other words, another academic with grandiose visions of Marxism and pure pain. That's what she wants to bring.
And they spend way too much time, you know, reading their own writings and reading writings that are similar to themselves. And then the majority of them, the biggest issue, those that live their entire existence in academia, and I'm not referencing all of them because there's a select few in academia that will actually teach something unique, you know, and they'll have a unique teaching style and they'll have an independent thought. But there's way too many of them in academia, Chip, that they spend their entire existence regurgitating the opinions of others. And that's it. It's just verbal vomit, you know, because it's just nothing new. And it's just like, read this book. It's just horrible, you know, and that was my whole existence when I was in grad school. It was miserable, you know,
yeah. Well,
you know,
Jeff,
listening to these people.
That's well said, but this was an Axios of all places, right? So the big picture, Omarova's meeting with stiff oppositions from Republicans and the banking industry. And I'll tell you why from the banking industry, okay? First of all, she once called it a quintessential asshole industry. That was the first thing she called it, right? Right. And now this right here, you want to see a soft shoe from a mostly leftist publication. She's also taking heat for academic writings, in which she suggested a smaller role for big banks and a larger one for the Federal Reserve. Well, that's a really nice way to say that she wanted to eliminate banks, Jeff. And so the Office of the Comptroller is a regulator overseas banks. So yeah, I don't see how this can proceed. So this,
and like how she wants a larger role for the government-related agency.
Well, the non-government related agency, it's not, the Federal Reserve, which we're trying to get rid of, Jeff.
Yeah, the non-government government-related agency.
There you go. Well said. So anyway, so I want to watch this video right here with knowing that that's what's coming up. Let's listen to Michael Hsu, and Michael Hsu is the current. He's the acting director of the Office of the Comptroller. But let's listen in on this and what he's talking about here. I think this is pretty good.
Is good in most instances. What I want to be really careful about is when you're dealing with other people's money, which is what stablecoins fundamentally are about. You want to be careful. We all want to be careful. And there are some areas where we want really unfettered innovation. Move fast, break things, iterate. That's what you want. With regards to stablecoins, I would argue that is not what you want. You want your money to be stable. You want it to be reliable. You want it to be there in good times, in bad times, and not have to think about it. If you innovate too much in that space, you're going to get a wide range of outcomes that, and some of which are not going to be good. We've seen that in other spaces. And so, again, we're not out to quash innovation across the board. I would argue that the best way to promote healthy, productive, responsible innovation is to take those things which should be stable and make them stable, so people don't have to worry about that. And then that way you can focus your the innovation energies where they can kind of have the biggest gain.
What do you think he just said, Chip?
Well, what he said was he's a little worried about stable coins, but again, I'm not sure he's worried about it for the same reasons that you and I might be worried about it as investors. I do think he's sort of gunning for it in the same way Gensler's gunning for stable coins. You know, it's a direct threat to the the fiat currency, right? You got more and more people going into that. It's a potential threat. So that's kind of what did you hear in that, Jeff?
Yeah, I was hearing just, he's kind of just circular speak. He's talking about the stable coin that it has to be stable because if you have, if you want it to be, you want to be safe, you want to know that it's stable. And that's, but I agree kind of what you were saying too. I think that from their perspective, they see it as a mechanism that will wrench away their control over the populace. If they control the currency 100%, they dictate, and this is not where we stand right now in terms of fiat currency, but think a step ahead as they digitize currency. They want to make sure that they are in full control of the digitized currency, and that way regulate everything that you're able to do. I mean, you can think about it from that perspective, but you can't disagree, like you said. I think his opinion is going to be different from ours. From our perspective, I want to make sure that if it's a stable coin, that it's actually stable, for one, that it actually is backed one for one by the asset that they're stable based on, or if it's pegged. So if they're pegging to the US dollar, or they peg into value of, and that value is then denoted in US dollar. But if how do you have a stable coin and your holdings are in gold? And does that mean that you need to release some of the gold in order to, are you constantly buying and selling gold but your stable coin is not stable gold, but stable to the dollar? It's super frustrating. And I think that's some of the issues that we have with Tether, that, Tether originally said that they had the US currency, and then it came out to say, well, they just had a basket of goods with a value of X, and that's where it becomes problematic. If you want to be stable, then maybe it should be like a poker chip, like from Gary Gensler's reference chip. So if you have a poker chip worth $100, then they have $100 that they're going to exchange your poker chip for.
Yeah, I think if you should want to be stable, I think you should seek therapy, Jeff. Personally, that's what I think. But maybe Gensler needs to do that. I got a really quick hit right here. This is a quick one, but this caught my attention because I am really eating up everything about Web3, this new realm we're entering. But at levelsio put this on there. He said, first explanation, it starts to make sense to me. First of all, Web 1.0 was companies create and companies profit. Web 2.0, we had open source, you had companies create or people create and then companies profit. And then with Web 3.0, we've got people create and people profit. And that's where we're headed. That's where DeFi is. That's where, the metaverse is, that it's coming down to the personal level. And that's why this freedom and decentralization is so key and important. Jeff, any thoughts on this?
Oh, I like that concept, and we're starting to see that now. These people that are creating are essentially companies. So if you're going to create and you want to profit, then your creation should be based off in and around a company. Because from a taxation perspective, I would assume. But people creating are selling, and that means you're selling to another person. Therefore, that if you're going to sell to another person, you probably have a company. So it becomes a very, secular conversation too. But I agree with that. I do think that it's bringing the power back into the hands of the people, and we're seeing individuals break away right now as we speak, creating things, and they're becoming self-sufficient. So you can become a self-sufficient company of one individual. Go back to the reference of the farmer that we talked about in Kenya. That's a perfect example of him creating and directly profiting. you know, and he's got his farm, he's farming, isn't using a bank because he couldn't bank because of issues beyond the conversation over in Kenya. But when he started utilizing cryptocurrency, and he was able to sell his produce in crypto and then pay his vendors in crypto, it expanded his capabilities. And that's what it's all about. Empower the individual, empower people, no matter what country they're in, to take it back, become, you know, they want freedom. And that's what it's bringing. So yes, that was a long way of saying yes.
Wow, Jeff, I lost you at some point there, but I'm glad you brought us back there. But so this is another quick hit here too. Go ahead and throw that up there.
Let me throw this up here from Catherine. She had another question over here. With all that is being dug up on ETH by the XRP army, that ETH got a pass, would you not be afraid to buy it today? Wow, that's a really in-depth question. I hold Ethereum, so
do I.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go. So I mean, would I be afraid of it? Listen, I don't think you can stop it. I don't think you just suddenly go, look, you did a night. Fines can be levied. It's pretty clear that the SEC would believes that today's ETH is not a security, and if anything, they could go back and fine them for the ICO. But again, it's the train left the station. It's so far down the tracks that you just can't catch up to it. I just don't think it's going to be. I don't think we're going to. I don't see anything stopping it at this point. It's too big. There's too many people involved. It's too much at stake. And one of the things we'll probably not get to tonight, but there were like 5 different companies, organizations, projects that got 50, 100 million, 100 million, 100 million. The amount of money that's going in and being dumped into these companies right now and these organizations and you know, DeFi is just astounding. It's really rivaling anything that happened with the .com boom. You can't stop it. They're not going to stop it. That's just my opinion. But I wanted to throw this up there because this was really pretty decent reporting by NPR, and I don't say that often, Jeff, because
you black out the pictures, please.
Yeah, so there you go. So they said a big fight's brewing over cryptocurrencies. These are some key players to watch. Tell me if you hear this here.
Republican Cynthia Lummis is a senator from Wyoming, a rancher, and a hodler.
My son-in-law has a shirt that says, "Friends don't let friends sell Bitcoin." And that is my investment strategy for Bitcoin.
A hodler is crypto speak for someone who bought cryptocurrency and who's held on to it despite its extreme volatility. Lummis paid $330 for her first Bitcoin back in 2013, and today it's worth around $60,000. She's bought more of it since, which means Lummis stands to gain or lose from the policy she's helping to shape.
Okay, so it's a good. There you go. It's a very good article, right? But if you want to know what NPR is, you know where it leans. It's leaning heavily on the left side. So they're trying to frame this argument. They put up the 2 lovebirds here, Gary Gensler and Elizabeth Warren, and they throw the meanie, you know, Cynthia Lummis in here, and the way they frame this argument is ridiculous. What they framed it as though she's trying to change. In other words, she stands to profit and make a lot of money. And that's why she's fighting for it. She stands to do really well. Meanwhile, everybody in Congress is doing all these backdoor trades and all this insider trading with stocks. But don't worry about that. Don't look there, Jeff. That's just the way it is. But see how they're framing this argument here? She's trying to change it.
She's trying to change it. And he references, you know, that, you know, she's bought more since it went up over 60. So she gains to win or lose depending on the outcome, which is really, I mean, you're going to, you know, what are these guys? They just, you know, they just believe, you know, the way they phrase things, man, they just want all out communism. They just don't want ownership. They think ownership is evil and they want to take away the rights of the people. I mean, that's how it sounds to me. That's just a quick shout out before you continue. K HUD, appreciate the support, said, "Hello, I just figured out how to do this. I think you guys are great men. Appreciate everything." Appreciate you, K HUD.
Oh, that's awesome, K HUD. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it does go on a little bit more. I just wanted to, break it because I know that maybe there's some people on last night that perhaps weren't on tonight, but we did roll out a brand new website here, and I wanted to show that real quick. Here you go. Boom, right there. So, yeah, we rolled out our new website, so you can check out all the podcasts here. They're all going to be on here, and then, of course, you can go in there and click in and You can listen to the show. Yeah, because we are everywhere podcasts are. You just click up here. You can see all the different places we are out there on the web. You can watch the YouTube video. And then right here, these are all of this is from last night's show, but these are all the links and comments that we basically send out. So there's a plethora of information. And then you also see things that we don't get to on the show, Jeff, right? That just happens. There's a whole bunch of things that we don't get to, but there's
tonight there was so much in the keep.
Tonight's going to be another one of those.
Oh yeah, it's all up there.
Like this one I wanted to cover, which is Jack in the Box sues FTX over Moonman mascot, because they're saying that their guy is like, I mean, it was just the most silliest thing ever in the world. But yeah, there it is right there. So there's a whole bunch of stuff there. I mean, I wish we could get to most of the stuff. I mean, we just can't always get to it, but you can just see all this stuff. Like this one here, this is supposedly Jeremy Hogan. I was like, what the hell happened there? That's not quite there. And then this one here, which I think they nailed pretty well, is blockchain backer. And this one they got spot on. This is Gary Gensler, so that worked out pretty well. So, but you can just see what we have on our website. You know, everything's there. This is one that I wanted to go as well. Kevin Cage talked about his first time using a VR headset. I said, you'll own nothing, you'll be happy. And if you spend enough time in the metaverse, you won't even notice you own nothing. You know, so there's a hello. Is there anyone in there? Not if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Obviously, this is Pink Floyd's famous song, but the one that I got was the one that always haunted me as an adult that I didn't quite get when I heard it when I was younger. You know, I caught a fleeting glimpse outside the corner of my eye. You know, the child has grown, the dream is gone. That right there hits you, smacks you right in the face, Jeff. When you're, there's the then we've got of course the famous video of Senator John Kennedy, which we laughed about last night. And then you can just share this on Twitter or anything else. So it's also a great way to support on the chain too. A lot of people always ask, how do we support on the chain? Well, the best way you can support it is watching us, sharing it. But in addition to that too, we also set this up because this is our site. We're not doing Patreon. We don't do any of those things. First of all, Patreon takes 12%. Google takes 30%. This is a much better scenario for us. We just pay a payment processor. And if you want to subscribe to, you can basically just support us monthly. It's a $10, or you get a 25% discount if you want to do an annual. And it's just, pretty simple sort of setup. Just pop in here. It's all powered by Stripe. Real simple. But again, that's
easy
because
website too.
What's that?
Easy website.
Yeah, very easy to use, very cool, and pretty happy about it. Everything you'd ever want to need, and on the inside is always the 2 latest shows posted here. But you know what? You can put your email in here, your name. It's cool. We've been seeing people sign up, which is really awesome. But you don't have to. Remember, the audio and the video will always be free. You'll always be able to hear that. You'll see it on YouTube, or you can come right here. It's always going to be available, so it's not like you're missing anything. However, we'll show the first couple of links here, but then if you want to support, you go ahead and support us if you want. But again, it's because people were looking for something, and then we also wanted to create it in a way that would be helpful for for the website. And you'll see this expand. We'll put the merch store, put a lot more links on there, but that's what we have for right now anyway. So there it is.
Yeah. Hey, Chip, you realize that we're streaming 6 days a week. Wasn't sure if you're staying on top of that, but we do stream every Sunday, every Monday, all the way through Thursday. So Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go, Jeff.
Always great stuff. Oh, look at that. What do you know? If you go to onthechain.io, you don't even have to listen to us anymore. Everything's right up there. Go check it out. Look at that. It even says it in print. And if it's on the internet, Chip, you know it must be true.
Oh, it has to be true. If it's on our site, it's definitely true until we change it up. But there you go. So anyway, that's our new
dapper in that picture.
Look at that, huh? And then you can learn more about Jeff. You want to know more about Jeff, you can just come over to here. If you want to tweet us, YouTube channels are there, but you can learn more about Jeff here. One of his quotes: "Free market economics is the basis for liberty." This message is resonating. Absolutely, Jeff. Can agree with that wholeheartedly. Yep. So anyway, but that's it, guys. I mean, that's something you can do. And then course, if you do support us, we're going to have meetups, quarterly meetups, and also you get a discount on the merch store. But
Oh,
again,
that's a big one, Chip. I think, if you guys do go through the website, check it out, see what you think. Give us some feedback as well when you come in the chat. If you want to send us an email, send us your thoughts, comments, pros, cons. It'll be great to engage and hear from you guys. And as we keep moving forward to build it, part of the membership that we're putting on the website are the quarterly meetups. And so we did a few of those. We tested out some nice ones, and we have a software that allows to orchestrate the meetup so we can get an international presence at the meetup, and everyone gets to sit at these tables, and then you get to see each other and talk and engage. And we have multiple tables inside of the meetup, and then we can have guest speakers coming through on stage. So it's really, really cool. And we'll start as memberships start coming in, we'll start announcing the meetup as well. We'll start planning one out, and it's a lot of fun. It's a blast. So
yeah, the other thing people asked about was like, hey, how do we reach out to you? How do we do it? Well, yeah, a lot of people don't have a Twitter account. And so if you go to the contact page, you can go ahead and send us an email. Just put your name in there, email, whatever subject, and send us stuff, which is also another way. And then sometimes people don't have Twitter feeds. So we've actually added the Twitter feeds down here, where you can just see our tweets. You don't have to have Twitter, but you can kind of see some of the things we're talking about and tweeting about. So
yeah,
that's kind of cool,
it, man. The one thing that's true, Chip, is that we are by far the slowest growing crypto YouTube channel in the history of YouTube channels. But the good thing is that we also have the smartest people in all of crypto YouTube space, which is outstanding.
Well, Jeff, we've been oscillating for the last seven days. We've had 20,989, then 990, then 993, then back down to. So for some reason, we picked up 3, we lost 3, we picked up 3, lost 3, picked up 3, and that's what happens. But I think a lot of it has to do with the subject matter we talk about, which we're getting a rut until it picks up again. But yeah, we are being absolutely hammered with. So and even on Jeff's Saturday show the other day, I saw like 10 people subscribe, and then those went away. And so just the way it is, guys, it's all right. We're happy with it. We're happy with the progress, but it is what it is. We're not going to change who we are for the algorithm.
Anything. Exactly. So Cutter, you might be slow, but the OTC is the best. That's right. The OTC community, by far the best. We love it. You guys are awesome. Tomorrow is another night. Today is
Monday.
Monday.
Oh, okay, Monday. Jeff. Whoa, gee. Oh, okay.
I had to think about that for a second.
I was like, Jeff, we have dead air. We can't have dead air. Like today
is Tuesday.
Tomorrow is. Today is.
I remember what day it was because I was in a conference over the weekend. So it's like you're working nonstop, and then you forget what that just doesn't blend. But that's cool. We'll be back tomorrow night, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with all of our great people. Looking forward to it.
See you guys on the next one. Chip and Jeff out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.